examples I put in, and then we can have a discussion. So what I did, I broke it down by general driving, road rage and conflict, mental health and driving. So, and then we're going to go ahead and break it down. So different age groups do different things. Some age groups, 14 to 24. How can I drive safely in fog or rain? I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions. So if you're 14 to 24, teen drivers practice slow driving. You're going to drive slow in the parking lot. You're going to drive slow at night. In the rain and snow, you're going to drive very slow because you don't have experience, and night driving can be really dangerous. Another example would be between 14 and 24, you're going to go to college or a community college or a trade school. A college student keeps a survival kit. If your car breaks down, you got jumper cables, you got an energy bar, you have a blanket, you got your Timberlands, you got an extra battery pack, maybe a portable charger or air pump. You're going to have a snack in the car for unexpected snowstorms, okay? If you're 25 to 50, and most of you will get there, a busy parent reduces speed. Okay, your mom and dad are going to be taking you to school. Okay, some of you ride the bus. The bus drivers drive crazy, no cap. But because I've talked to bus drivers before, most of them are very nice. Your mom and dad's going to drive slow. They're going to have on the fog lights. They're going to drive you in the morning, and they're going to drive slower. If you want a snack, your mom and dad's going to say, you got to get up earlier if you want me to go through McDonald's or Tim Hortons or Starbucks. You've got to get up earlier. If you don't get up earlier, too bad. That's your fault. You're kicking and screaming. That's your fault. If you are going to work, because most of you need a job, if you get a car, you're going to need a job. Cars don't run on air. Even electric cars, you got to charge up, but you need a house. But if you didn't have a special plug for a Tesla or electric car, you could charge it up on 110, but it's going to take a really long time. And then you still got to have insurance. So you got to have a job if you're going to have a car. Being said, you gotta work, and if you don't want to have a job, then you're going to be the one struggling to really prepare yourself for life. A lot of you rely on your mom and dad for everything, but you don't have a job, you don't have a car, you don't know how to drive, you don't know how to do your laundry. It's a lot of things your parents are trying to teach you right now, but some of you are like, I want to learn all I can. Some of you don't care. So if you're between 25 and 50, you're driving to work every day. You're commuting. You got good all-season tires. You practice good defensive driving. You leave early. You put on your seatbelt. You let your car warm up. You clean off your windows. You leave early. So if you want to get breakfast or a coffee, you don't have to rush. And you've learned, leave early, leave early, leave early. But sometimes an accident happens, or a storm happens, or school is canceled, or whatever the case may be. If you're 50 to 70, and that's probably your grandparents' age, the middle-aged driver takes a refresher defensive driving course. If it's really bad, they're not going to drive. They may say, hey, Julie, your mom is going to drop you off. Can you take me to the store? I'll put money in your account. Or can you take me to the doctor and then to physical therapy? I'll put money in your account, or you can drive my car. Okay, Grandma, I love you. Or Grandpa, I got you, right? Because people are living longer. A retiree ensures that their car's wiper blades and defrosters are working. A lot of you won't take care of your car because you don't know how. You have bad windshield wiper blades that don't clean the window. You have headlight lenses that after about 7 or 8 years, they start getting cloudy, and you don't know what to do. And if you drive an older car and it has dim headlights, you get used to driving a car with dim headlights. Then you drive your mom and dad's car, that is a 2025, 2024, 2023, those headlights are nice and crispy. And some of you will notice that, but your parents won't let you drive their car because you've had 2 accidents. I wouldn't let you drive my car either because you had 2 accidents. Some senior drivers use voice navigation. They avoid icy routes. They stay on the main roads. They don't go on the expressways. So when you're driving, you need to find out, is this a young driver? Is this a middle-aged driver? Is this an old driver? So you know what to do. And a lot of retirees only drive like after 9 o'clock, 9 to 12. They don't drive after 12 o'clock because you young people are crazy and you go too fast. They don't drive at night because they can't see really well. How to handle merging in a fast-paced expressway. 14-year-olds, a driving student practices merging on a quiet expressway with the instructor's guidance. That's from 14 to 24. There are a lot of people who don't want to drive or who are scared. 25 to 50, there's still some people who are scared, don't want to drive. They may call for private instructor. A professional commuter plans their route. I know 3 or 4 ways to work. You should know 3 or 4 ways to school. You should know 3 or 4 ways to get home. But because you don't know streets and routes, you're lost. A lot of kids drive home. A lot of adults drive home, but you don't know how to get home. And you need a computer or your phone to tell you. That tells me you don't know. Well, it's not that I don't know. I just want my GPS to tell me. You should know without your GPS. Okay? So a person 25 to 50, a professional commuter, and I'm a professional commuter. I work every day. I go to my first job, come home, and I do my second job driving. And then I do my third job, my side hustle. So all of you just have one job. Let's go to school. Make up driver's ed. Pretend you're listening and wonder why you missed your last drive. So my job is different. I have bills. I have a family. If I want a new video card, a 5090, it's going to be $2K. If I want a new Tesla, it's going to be $60,000. If I want a new camera, it's going to be $2,000. If I want a new gaming table, it's going to be probably $900. Your hand is out for mom and dad. Mom and dad, can I get this computer? Or some of you work. Yay, we know who we are. But working teaches you value. I don't want to work. Well, I guess you don't want your own things because your parents are always going to say, you know, we paid for that. You're going to hear mom and dad's voice. So, an example, a driver with kids in the car ensures everyone is buckled up. That's what your parents do. Are you buckled up? Are you buckled up? Yes, mom. Yes, dad. Good. Now be quiet. What do you want from McDonald's? I want a number 2. Okay. I want 5 number 2s. And then mom or dad brings out that debit card. You're like, man, they never run out of money. No, they work every day. Someone 50 to 70, a middle-aged driver, ensures they use mirrors. They have blind spot monitors. A retiree avoids rush hour. They don't go on the expressway. People 70 to 100, you're like, whoa, there are people 70, 100? Yes, they are, and they're driving. A senior driver seeks help from a driving school. A retired driver practices local routes that are less congested. Road rage, conflict management, 14-year-olds, 14 to 24, that's your age group, many of you. A teenager listens to calming playlists and blocks out distractions of angry drivers. True. Yes, if you do have low energy and you're distracted, take a break. Relax. You don't have to be to Nebraska today. Relax. Why are you trying to drive 200 to get there in 1 hour? An example, a young adult uses mindful techniques to learned in therapy to avoid reacting to rude gestures. People will put up the middle finger. They will cut you off. I'm already doing 70. They want to do 80. You're going through Chicago. Man, they drive fast. I want to go through Kansas. They're doing 95. I'm doing 75. Still not fast enough. Get to the slow lane. They're doing 80 in the slow lane. Mom, they're doing 80 in the slow lane. Honey, I don't know what to tell you. You always had anxiety. You're right, Mom. Thank you. Bye. Person 25 to 50, a professional driver practices deep breathing. Stay calm if a driver cuts you off. Your parents might do that because your parents are over 30. they're in their 40s. If you're 14 or 15, do the math, unless they had you very early. So your parents are going to be like, you know what? I don't want to choke this person. I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to take my time. A parent driving their kids chooses to avoid eye contact. If someone cuts off your mom and dad, I'm not going to look at them because there's getting ready to be a fight. Mom, Dad, you are my hero. I would have cussed them out. Well, that's you. That's why you don't drive yet. I'm mom. I'm dad. I have to ensure our safety. So your parents hopefully will do things to teach you the right thing to do, but some of your parents want to fight. Some of your parents want to argue. A retired driver avoids escalation. I'm not going to drive it at 11:45. Those people are crazy. I'm going to drive at 250 to 450. Right? Older people, they're just going to ignore you. You're screaming at them, middle finger, they're just going to drive and call the police. There's some teenager, I ran her license plate. Her name is Olivia. I'm joking, Olivia. Her name is Olivia. She cut me off. Grandma, I did not cut you off. You never made your lane change. Hang in there, Olivia. Look like you're falling asleep. So retired drivers don't deal with conflicts. People 70 to 100, they keep a stress ball. They squeeze it. Because some of those seniors are spicy. A retiree avoids confrontation. They plan routes to avoid high traffic areas. This is really big. Mental health and driving. Really, really big. Mental health. How do I manage anxiety and panic attacks while driving? 14 to 24, you're going to learn to have grounding techniques. You're going to talk to your counselor. You're going to talk to your driving instructor. Because I'm going to give you an honest opinion. I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. I'm going to give you like an uncle opinion. This is what you need to do. You know, you're right, but I can't talk to my mom, man. Or you need to have your dad say, my dad, I can't talk to him. I can't talk to talk to your uncle. I could talk to him. And then he'll talk to my dad. Or he'll talk to my mom. Find someone who can support you. That's really important. A college student creates a playlist of calming music to reduce anxiety. That's always good. A 25 to 50-year-old, a parent schedules shorter drives and practices positive affirmations. I'm a positive person. It's easy to be negative. Okay, if you're looking for negativity, I can find negativity in all of you. I can find positive things in all of you. Always be positive. A professional driver takes online courses on stress management, techniques to stay calm. Every 2 years as an instructor, I have to take professional development classes. All of us do. I'm taking mine next Saturday because I want to continue, and I'm taking it 3 or 4 months early. Drivers 70 to 100, you're like, really? Yes. A senior driver attends a driving confidence workshop to rebuild skills and calm nerves. A retiree practices with family members in familiar areas because grandma and grandpa will forget. Type in what you learned. All of you type in what you learned. You can type in one thing from each age group. Type in what you learned. All of you type in what you learned. We talked about the 14 to 24-year-old age group. That's many of you. We talked about the 25 to 50. You can use an example of mom or dad. We talked about the 50 to 70-year age group, and then we talked about the 70 to 100. All of you will live to at least 85 to 102 or 3. Women live longer than men. Cars are getting safer. We have more technology. We have self-driving. I'm not talking about the Tesla. We have self-driving cars. I'm not talking about electric cars. We still have gasoline-powered cars that are more fuel efficient. We have hybrids. Okay? So cars are getting smarter, but I think people are not getting smarter. We put a button on, and then we're like, it's good, bro. I can go text on my phone. Or it's good. I don't have to pay attention. Or it's good. Someone cut me off. I'll just put it on autopilot and tell it, go, go, go. I think these things are here to make our lives better, but I think you need to get better with them. What if your autopilot malfunctions? What if your sensor or laser gets dirty with snow and ice and you have self-driving mode on, but it doesn't stop and you rear in the car? That's your fault. What if your sensor or laser gets dirty and a kid walks out and your car doesn't stop? You run them over. That's your fault. These are real questions because we have more self-driving cars today. Again, I'm not talking about Tesla. Tesla gets a lot of the national attention because Elon Musk said there are going to be more deaths before things get better. And he was right, but more automotive manufacturers have self-driving. The older 2019, 2015, 2012, 2010 have cruise control. You just push a button and the car drives. If there's something that comes out in front of you, you hit the brake. So cars have always had like self-driving mode, but manufacturers today hands-free. Okay? Hands-free is like so dangerous. You still got to pay attention. There's semi-trucks that have hands-free driving. Could you imagine? So there are a lot of things that are going to go on. And I think all of you are in an exciting time, but it's also a really dangerous time. Many of your parents have self-driving cars, adaptive cruise control. But sometimes those features are really dangerous. How do I report a dangerous or aggressive driver? Note the person's license plate number, car, make, and model. Call the local authorities. Example, a driver witnesses a reckless driver and safely pulls over to report it. That's what you do. A commuter records details of a speeding car and files a police report online. A lot of people have dash cams. How do I avoid being provoked by another driver? Let the commuter, as a commuter, listen to calming music. The driver lets the speeding car pass without cutting them off. Stay focused. What's the most effective way to check blind spots? Look over your shoulder. A lot of you won't do this. Example, a driver checks your blind spot over their shoulder before making a highway merge. A lot of you won't do this. A truck driver relies on side mirrors and cameras to ensure blind spots are clear. How do I safely drive in bad weather? Reduce your speed. Leave earlier. Use low beams. Avoid sudden braking. A driver in heavy rain slows down. How do I regain confidence after an accident? A nervous driver enrolls in defensive driving to build confidence. After a minor collision, a driver practices in an empty parking lot. Start with short drives, familiar areas, work to home, home to school, school to your old job. Oh, I'm sorry, some of you won't get a job. I'm joking. You've got to work. How do I keep calm when another driver's rude? Avoid eye contact. Ignore them. After a driver yells at his or her, a commuter pulls over in the parking lot and takes a deep breath. What's the safest way to respond to road rage? Maintain a safe distance. I think as a young adult learning how to drive, you got to make a commitment. Sometimes you will be alone. If there's no one in the house to help you, then you need to call maybe a social service program, look up a community hotline. There may be a volunteer there who will volunteer their time and let you drive. I think you can't say no. If you say no, then you're going to give up. You can't give up. Okay? At 16, I had a chance to get a car. I had to work. I could have said, no, I can't afford a car. The car was a piece of crap. It barely started. I got insurance, but it was my piece of crap. You got to build on it. So you have to keep knocking at the door until someone helps you. You've got to keep trying. There are people in the world who will help. What's the most important thing you need to do to pass your road test? I would say practice right turns, left turns, merging on expressway, checking blind spots, driving in your neighborhood, feeling comfortable. When you're ready, go make an appointment for the road test, but you got to be able to practice. If you can't practice, you won't get ready. We're going to go over some of the questions. Put more questions in. On an expressway, the move over law requires you to slow down. A lot of police officers are rear-ended or killed because motorists hit their police car or hit the tow truck or hit the ambulance. So the move over law is designed to get you to move over one lane. What's the best advice for drivers in heavy fog? Try not to drive until the fog has lifted. But if you're a younger 14, let's use this example. If you're 14 to 24, you're like, I gotta go, but I'm scared. So you're gonna drive very slow. If you are 25 to 50, you know it's foggy. You're gonna drive even slower. You're gonna hug the white line. That's called the edge line or fog line. If you're 50 to 70, you're like, bro, I can't drive in this. I'm calling. I can't make it. If you're 70 to 100, you're crazy. You can't see. Your eyes are bad. And you should be out. So it really depends on your age and how healthy you are. As a young adult, you got to have a plan. You're going to have to talk to people in your family. I will call everyone on your phone. Who's going to help me? I'm your favorite niece. I'm your favorite cousin. I need someone to help me. You got to put yourself out there. Next, it is very foggy. And you reduce your speed, you turn on your windshield wipers, and you drive with your low beams on. This way, people will see you. In reduced visibility conditions, you need to work especially hard to see hazards before you need more time to react and avoid. And when you guys drive in fog, you're going to learn this. You're going to panic. About 2 years ago, we drove in fog. Once every 2 or 3 years, or 2 or 3 times a year, you're going to have fog. As an adult is 18 and up. If you don't have your license by 18, then you need to first look at yourself. Is it me? Am I relying on mom and dad too much? And you have to want to grow up. You got to want to get a job. And with job, you can stack up your money. And you can get to work. You can get an e-scooter. You can walk. You can't say no. You can't avoid. You can't accept no. When it becomes extremely difficult to see because of heavy rain, you should pull over to the side of the road and wait for it to clear. And let's go through this age group stuff. A 14 to 24-year-old will most likely probably drive through this. A 25 to 50 will go slower, reduce speed. They'll probably try to drive through it, go too fast, maybe crash. A 50 to 70-year-old, they'll say, you know what, it's really dangerous. I'm just going to wait. A 70 to 100-year-old, I'm not driving. It's raining. So, and this is something we all will deal with because people are living longer. What should I do if I do it first to learn how to drive a car? Nothing is promised. Like all of you want to get your permit. Some of you will get in on time. Some of you won't. Some of you are in a makeup class. Some of you have missed drives. Some of you don't have insurance and you can't drive. Some of you have a car, but you don't have insurance and it's not registered. Some of you will drive illegally and get caught. So some of you will take chances and some of you will beat the law. Some of you will get caught. And you don't learn your lesson. Life has a funny way of teaching you lessons. And some of you say, you know what, I have a car, but I don't have insurance. I have to wait 6 months. Or I'm going to use my mom's license plate because she's down in Florida and I'm going to put her license plate on my car. But when you pull out, you make an illegal lane change, and they run your mom's plate, and it comes up as your mother's car, and the police pull you over. Oh, officer, it's my mom's car. Can I see the registration, proof of insurance? I left it at home. Some officers might be nice to you. Other officers might say, get out, put your hands on top of the car. So it really depends. Everyone is different. When driving at night, it's a good idea to keep plenty of space. It allows you to see. And if you're going too fast, it's called overdriving your headlights. You know, the adult word is kind of overused. You know, what makes an adult? What makes a teenager? A lot of people think, well, I'm 18, I'm an adult. But you still watch cartoons and you walk around in your slippers all the time. And you have a SpongeBob shirt on. There's nothing wrong with SpongeBob. You're an adult. Most adults don't wear SpongeBob shirts. They have nice shirts on. They're dressed nice. They want to be treated like an adult. But some of you will still want to stay in that kid mode. I guess I need a haircut. It's bigger than that. To be an adult is called responsibility. You work and make your own money. You will save money for a car. You will get insurance. You will get your license. Then you will learn how to drive. And I see that more and more, an adult. Okay? Just giving you some examples. You are driving in a clear night in an area with few headlights on. If you cannot see with headlights, you should turn on your high beams. This allows you to see more light, but once you see cars coming at you, cut off those lights. When driving at night, your high beam headlights, you must dim them within 500 feet. So once you see a car coming at you, dim them because you will blind the other driver. You have to look to the edge line. That's the white line to the right. When passing a large truck, do not cut out in front of the truck too quickly because you may not provide adequate stopping distance for the truck. We never want to cut off a truck. A 14-year-old would gamble and cut off a truck. A 14 to 20, you would die. A 25 to 50 would not do that. They would say, you know what, I'm going to use my blinkers. I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to cut off this truck because this is really dangerous. A 50 to 70 might try to cut off a truck. I've been driving 40 years and I can go faster than a truck, but you got to go 85 to pass the truck, and then you get really nervous. And then your reaction time is slow. A 70 to 100-year-old driver, death. A truck driver will take out one car instead of taking out 50. So your age will dictate how you drive and what you do. The people I'm talking to are 14 to 24, 14 to 16. Everyone's a little bit different. Pros and cons of learning how to drive with a disability. You need to practice more. I've driven kids with one eye, kids who are almost legally blind, kids with one arm, kids who have attention deficit disorder, anxiety. You need to take proper medication. You need to have your medical paperwork ready. You need to see your therapist because everyone is a little bit different. So you can drive with those disabilities. You just need to know what are your limitations. Only drive in the morning. Can't drive in the afternoon or at night. Only drive on the weekends. So once you learn that, and if you have this conversation with your doctor or therapist, that's what they're there for. And some of you will have those conversations with your doctor or therapist. Some of you won't because you know they're going to say you can't drive. Motorcycle operation. Motorcycle operation, they have a right to the full lane. More people are riding motorcycles, e-scooters. You see this on the road. If it's not snowing, you're going to see people on an e-bike. They're very popular. A lot of you will get an e-bike before you get a car. because the insurance is too high. Your parents are not going to help you. But if you work a quick summer job, you're going to make $800 to $1,000. Then if you make $800 to $1,000, you can get a job. You charge your bike up. You work at a fast food place. A couple summers, you got $5,000. If you really want to drive this year, you got to set goals. A lot of you want to drive now, but you got to make up class time. You got to make up your drive. And a lot of you don't put driving as a priority because you put baseball, basketball, your friends ahead of driving. And I see that with students coming in here. You don't put driving first. And we have a time limit to get you done. And if you're out of the time limit, you're going to be repeating class, like some of you are right now. Next, you must yield to a pedestrian with a white cane and guard dog. Yes, this is true. If you see a pedestrian with a white cane and guide dog to the corner, pull up, slow down, and they'll hear the sound of your engine. When driving through the highway work zone, you need to be prepared for lane shifts. You do not have to stop for a school bus that has stopped on the other side of a divided highway. When you are approaching a school bus that has stopped on the roadway with the hazard lights flashing, you should be prepared. You should be prepared to stop or be prepared with caution. This is true. Motorcycles should be following at a greater distance. Always search for motorcyclists before you change lanes, before you go into the intersection, before passing an expressway. A motorcyclist's smaller size makes it difficult for drivers to judge the speed and distance. This is true. And some seniors are riding in those e-scooters. Maybe grandma had a stroke and she can't drive. Maybe grandpa had a seizure, his license is taken away, but he still wants to get around. I think with any disability, if you get clearance from your doctor and they say you can drive, then you need to actively find someone who can drive with you. And they are carrying people out there who want to help you drive. Your parents will do things to help you most of the time. Some parents will do things to set you up for failure. If you go over speed, you're going to end up getting arrested. People are going to record you and your license, and you're going to get pulled over. So people going over speed, eventually you'll get caught because you'll get comfortable driving too fast. If you want to pass a bicyclist on a narrow roadway, when an oncoming vehicle is approaching, slow down and let the vehicle pass, then the motorcyclist. You should stay out in an open space to the right when a tractor trailer because trucks make wide right turns. A large truck is driving in the middle of the lane of 3 lanes of traffic going down the same direction. If you want to pass, you should pass on the left. You are approaching an intersection with the semi-truck coming in the intersection from the left about to turn right. You should expect the wide turn and part of the trailer to come into your lane. You should allow more space in front of your vehicle when following large trucks. These questions are about trucks. Keep space. And we have more young truck drivers out here too, who are 21 to 31, who are making great money, but they're staying up all night, or they have a camera in their truck and they're falling asleep. So there are a lot more younger truck drivers on the road, and that could be dangerous. It could also be a good thing. So there are a lot more people driving Teslas. There are a lot more people driving self-driving vehicles, but they could not be paying attention. So you as a driver, that's the electric vehicle. Oh, I gotta be aware. Or, wow, that's an electric vehicle. Man, they're doing pretty good. So you have to accept more things in your life. A driver with a large truck will have more difficulty seeing the sides of the truck, that is, the sides and the rear. When driving behind a large, slow-moving truck on a rural road, you should keep enough space or so not to block your view. This is true. Large trucks turning right onto a small street will use part of the left lane. This is true. These questions repeat. So if you're taking your knowledge test and we're doing test prep, you're going to have to deal with this. You got to know, okay, truck driving questions, right-of-way questions, bad weather questions. Every state has different questions. There are people at the state capitol, driving instructors, teachers, coaches, parents. They sit down. They look at 1,000 questions. They put together the state test. That's what a lot of you don't know. And then you think, well, if I failed it 3 times, the 4th test will... No, there are 10 different versions. Oh, I'll just take it next Tuesday. I feel lucky. You have to study. What are some characteristics of freeway driving? Traffic is going in the same direction. They are higher speed limits. They're exits and entrance ramps. When entering an expressway, you should drive at near the same speed. What are some steps to a proper procedure for exiting? Verify your lane. Get in the lane early. Turn on your blinker. Reduce speed. Gradually slow down. Get into the lane early. What is the space cushion? This is space that is in front of you and behind you. It allows you to see ahead of you. A lot of you won't keep good space. If you're 14 to 25, you're going to tailgate because you're in a hurry. If you're 25 to 50, you're going to increase your following distance. You might flash lights. I wish they get out of my way. And then you're going to drive past them. If you're 50 to 70, you're going to drive much slower on the road. If you're 70 to 100, you're going to drive really slow. But some of you are going to say, you shouldn't be driving. Who are you to tell someone they shouldn't be driving? Learning how to drive is a big part of your life, and it will change your life. You have to be prepared for the cost. It's going to cost more. Take your test, get a car, get a job, get insurance, get registration, get tires and brakes. Some of you don't have to worry about that because mom and dad will give you the second or third car. It's got 60,000 miles. You'll take it to college. You'll take it around. It'll have 150,000. And by that time, you're 25 and you're ready to get your first car. But right now, you're depending on mom and dad to spoon feed you everything you need. And for sometimes that's okay. Other parents are like, nope, you're going to work for everything. And then you tell your friends, I already got 8,000 saved up. How? Why? I've been working since I was 14. Whoa. And when I turn 19, I'm going to get my car. Okay. But you don't have a license right now. That's okay. Next summer, I'm going to get an adult driver who's going to teach me. I'm going to do my TIP. Some of you have a plan and some of you don't. You are coming to an intersection, vehicle A, and you see a tractor trailer, vehicle B, coming to the intersection from the left, sharing the right side of the road. What should you do? C, it will turn wide and part of your lane will be completely taken over. So that's the type of question you're going to have on your test. What are some facts about freeways? No, not all entrance ramps have acceleration lanes. Sometimes they are stop signs. Chicago. You may pass on the right. Good judgment. After passing a vehicle, you may return to your lane. So there's a lot of things to consider. When a truck is about to pass you on the freeway, you should turn on the windshield wiper blade when it's raining. You're going to have a lot of rain coming on your car. You are never allowed to use emergency crossovers on the highway. This is correct. You're never allowed to use those. Therefore, police, emergency vehicles. Now, if there's an accident and the police are directing you, turn around, turn around, then you're going to use that emergency turnaround. If the exit ramp that you want to use is entirely blocked, you should go to the next one. This is true. Other drivers are not making room for you to merge out. What should you do? You want to, if you have to, you should pull over to the side. But you want to pick up speed, look over your shoulder, and accelerate. You should increase your following distance if the vehicle in front of you is large. Increase. That's the trick question. Increase, decrease. A curve on the road, slow-moving objects, large utility vehicles indicate line of sight. You got to be able to see. 3 minutes. Keep going. In most difficult environments, the recommended visual lead time is 20 to 30 seconds. 56. Ample space in front of the rear vehicle and the sides help you see. Visibility. The question is medical clearance from a doctor. Some of you do have I had a young lady who had, I don't know if she had a low heart rate. She had a heart rate monitor. This was 2 summers ago. She cannot drive by herself. She has to have someone in the car with her in case she passes out because of a low heart rate. The struggle is real. That was 2 summers ago. So you think about that until she gets medical clearance. So she's not letting her disability stop her. Imagine how brave she is. She could say, no, I'm terrible. I don't want to drive. She told me this. I'm like, wow. But she didn't let it stop her. The type of vision that provides the most details of targeting one specific thing is called central conic. So central vision is really important. The ability to handle dangerous traffic depends on searching left, middle, right. So if you have a vision issue, you got to practice using your eye or eyes or seeing. And you have to be coached and learn those elements. So vision is really important. So these questions are on vision now. The ability to handle dangerous traffic situations depends on searching aggressively. If you're 14 to 24, you're not really going to pay attention. If you are 25 to 50, you're going to keep more space. You're going to have your glasses checked. You're going to get your eyes checked every couple of years. So it's really important that you understand those elements. And that's extremely important. I need all of you to put your first, middle, and last name in, and then you're good. First, middle, last name in, and then you're good. Do that. And then you're good. Okay, question. If there's, okay.
Me and my brother, Dylan, both had to make up the class. I just wanted to make sure we were like on the list for that, or that that we had to make up the class.
I don't know, because corporate just put you in. So they're not going to call me and say, was Dylan and his brother in there? They know you're here because you had to make arrangements. Got it?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
All right, I love the conversation that we're having right now because we're really starting to get you guys ready. I think the biggest question that I'm getting from a lot of you is, how do I drive as an adult? And I look back, I got my license around 16 and a half. My mom and dad weren't going to help me get a car. My dad had to go back and forth to work. So I knew that when I was like 15, 14. I'm like, they're not going to give me a car. So I knew I had to work. I worked in the transportation industry. I worked at a YMCA. I had two jobs. Um, I had to work to get a job. I had to get a job to get money. And I saved it. I made $250 my first check. I put that money away. I could have bought shoes. I could have bought clothes. I didn't do it. And I think I saved about $350. The car was about $250, but I needed a battery. So I had to save another $50. I knew how to work on a car because I took automotive shop. There are a lot of times I end up going first because the other person doesn't immediately. Okay, so let's talk about this. I think, if you check at your church, they might be people there who have a car and a house. Hey, we have a young man or young lady who needs a car. You gotta invest in your community, right? If I was learning how to drive again and I didn't have a job, I would first try to fill out applications fast food. I know you say that sucks, but there's nothing you can do. Next, I would go online. You can do online work. I had to type a message out of a few messages. It's okay. Um, you can do online work at home, on your laptop, on your tablet, and you can get paid. You just got to set up an account. You can get paid like that. In a way, it's easier to get a job today, but it's harder. You got to have a skill. You got to do customer service. You got to do billing. Um, you can make money, but you got to have a discipline, like to save it. Like, I got $250, but I want to get those shoes. I want to get this video card off of Facebook Marketplace. You can't do it. You've got to be so determined to stack up your money because no one's going to help you. 78. No one's going to help you. If you have money saved up, that shows that personal responsibility. Okay? And if your mom or dad sees you saving money, they're going to help. Wow, you got $750 saved up. Yes. Or you might not can be able to say anything because they might say, you know what? We need this money to pay a bill. Like, Mom, Dad, it took me 3 months. Honey, you live here in our house. So it depends on your situation. You might not have to say anything. Okay? It depends on your situation. And I think a lot of people 18 to 25, 27 feel hopeless. If your parents aren't going to help you, you've got to rely on your church, your community. Talk to your counselor in high school. There's someone that will help you. Someone will help you. But first you got to help yourself. And as I go through this journey, I hear and read your messages. There are a lot of people who are out here who are 17 to 35, 27, 32, who didn't drive yet. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets because people are tired of picking you up and dropping you off. There's a lady that I know. She's got to be 34, 33, 37. She's got 3 kids. One of her kids is an 8th grader. Her daughter's a 6th grader. Her other daughter's a 5th grader. She doesn't drive. And I'm thinking, wow, but I'm not judging. If I could provide a driving school for all of you, help you, I would. And by me going through these lessons and motivating you, and you're motivating me to apply for a grant, maybe get a Tesla. So I think teach adults, help people. If my intentions are good, good things will happen. I want all of you to just pray for a moment. Like, it's going to happen. And if it's good in your heart, good things will happen. You still got to keep that faith. and you still got to rely on yourself. And what I need all of you to do is just look at all these videos, reach out to me. I see the messages, I see the comments every single day. I think about the comments that I see. I saw your video. It helped me for my road test. I want to learn how to drive, but I'm 27 and no one will help me. And I'm thinking, okay, if I was 27 right now, what could I do to help myself? I got to find a job. But your living situation, well, I'm in a situation that's not healthy. I can't worry about driving right now. I'm kind of stuck. Everyone's situation is different. And some of you might not want to share your situation on this platform. I get it. I'm going to start a stand store. I keep saying that and saying that and saying that. So then you can reach out to me. We could talk. At least I can give you a plan, because I didn't have anyone to talk to when I got my car. It worked out okay. It was a Chevy Malibu. I needed to get a battery. The tires were okay. There were leaves inside the engine bay. It just needed a battery. I needed the carburetor rebuilt, but I had to do all that. My mom and dad didn't help me, and I couldn't bring the car home because my mom and dad would have screamed at me. I had to sneak into my friend's house and drive back and forth to school and then walk home. And then one day, and I said, I'm done. And I drove the car home. And my dad looked down and said, whose car is that? Mine. Whose piece of junk car is that? Mine. I was so scared. But that moment, I grew up. And my dad never got in that car with me. But when it's time for me to learn how to drive, I drove his car a little bit, but I never drove his car like alone, because that was his car to go back and forth to work. So everyone's situation is a little bit different. So you need to, in the comments, kind of tell me what you can. How old are you? Where do you live? What is your situation? And then for me, there's some personal things I want to do to help you more, so I can help you plan. Everyone's state is different. Everyone's rule is different, but the church will help you. Your community will help you. There are income-driven schools. Like if you meet a certain income, you could get a car. If you're a parent or you have a disability, there are places that will fix cars, and then they'll give you a car, but you got to have a job. You can't drive a car without insurance and registration and license. You'll get pulled over and your car will get taken, but some of you will take that risk and get your car towed. Don't do that. They will tow your car. Is insurance cheap? No. Everything is more expensive. You got to go online and do your research. And if you don't know how to do that, we'll do it together. We'll do a Zoom call. We'll get together. We'll do a Google Meet. And then we can kind of plan a strategy. And what I'm seeing is people feel more alone today than 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Just because you have all this social media, is there any driving school for adults? Yes. Yes. You just have to call. Call the local driving school in your area and say, listen, I'm age 29. I want to learn how to drive. Do you provide adult lessons? Most driving schools will say yes. But the first thing they're going to say to you, do you have your TIP? Your TIP is your temporary instruction permit. You got to have that first. And if you have that first, then you will have to pay for driving lessons. It could be $50 to $150. Okay, I got you. Because when you put that thank you, those hands together, that went straight to my heart. And I'm not done in my journey. So I know that I'm going to help you, and I'm encouraging you. There are a lot of people out there who feel the same way. Like, you feel like no one's going to help me. I can't talk to my family or my grandma or uncle. And sometimes you've got to, let's go online, call. I'm in the Eastern time zone, and you have to, like tomorrow, 9 o'clock on your lunch break, Google local driving schools in my area. Call them up. And if they're polite and courteous, they'll ask you. They'll say, hey, we do, or no, we don't. And then go over there and visit the driving school. Look at the driving cars. Look at the instructor. Step in. Whenever I look at a company that I want to deal with, I want to go over and see them. I want to talk to them. Everything is online now. But you could go there in person and it's horrible. It's a nightmare. Or it's really good. That little crappy building really has some good teachers. Or that big professional building has bad teachers. You want someone who's going to be caring and supportive and really help you. And there are people still out there. I'm one of those people too. I'm in the Midwest. Where are you from? And you need someone to support you and help you, just give you honest advice. We all need a little bit of a push to reach our goal. And if your goal is to drive, you're going to call driving schools. You're going to get lessons. And it takes 6 months, 8 months to feel comfortable. If you're in Texas or Florida or Metro Detroit or Los Angeles, right now Los Angeles has to fire some stuff going on. Let's pray for them. But in big metropolitan areas, there are good driving schools. You just got to go online on your phone. When you're finished talking, could I ask you a question about turning on the road? Yes. Go ahead and ask now. Ask that question. I'm here. Okay, you're in the road making a turn. Right turn, left turn. The main road, which is perpendicular but unmarked. So it's like a stoplight or stop line. Okay. One road goes into another road. We treat it as an intersection. You're either going to have a yield or a stop sign. If you're the main road, you will have the right of way. If you're making a turn, you got to signal your intention, slow down, you look left, you look right, and turn the wheel in the nearest lane. If a car is coming off from a private driveway, they have to yield to you. The biggest thing that I see, a lot of beginning drivers go too fast into the turns. They get real stiff and they don't turn the wheel. So what I see when I'm teaching adults and teens, when they're trying to make a turn, they just hold the wheel. And if you just hold the wheel, the car does not turn. You've got to turn hand over hand to turn the car into the nearest lane. So what I do, we do a lot of figure eights, okay? I take students to a school zone, a parking lot with street lights. We drive and do figure eights, hand over hand in, hand over hand out. You've got to learn to look. If I'm making a left, I look and turn the wheel to the left. If I'm making a right, I look and turn the wheel from the right. A couple of years, if you're driving daily, you should be smoother in your turns. If you're driving once a week, you're not really getting that proper cognitive feedback. Example, if I drive one person tomorrow and I don't drive them for 3 weeks, they're going to kind of forget what they're learning. Drive an hour or so. Okay. If you're straight driving, that's okay, but you need to be making right turns, left turns. What I want you to do is get into your neighborhood. I want you to go down the block, make a right turn. Go down the other block, make a left turn. Practice making squares. I need you to make 4 right turns, 4 left turns. Practice making good 90-degree left turns. I do motorsport racing as well, so I'm pretty versed at driving. Motorsports are awesome. I've only been on a motorcycle 4 or 5 times. I can't tell you how fast I was going, but what I will tell you is I hit the front brakes when I first got on, and you know what happened? I flipped over the motorcycle and I laid there on the ground like, am I dead? What did I do? It was the 250 motorcycle. I got on, and not just motorsports, but like car racing. Okay, I teach street driving. Um, I don't teach professional race car driving. Now, I do drag race on a specially designed quarter mile course, not a motorcycle, just in motorsports. Okay, um, I've taught girls and guys who are driving on motorcycles too, or motorsports in general. They have better reactions. They know how to cut angles. Um, Small tire Camaro, small block, 800 horsepower, nothing too special. Low nines, high eights, all motor, small block car. I have some pictures on my phone. I'll try to. 1968 RS, chrome ollie cage, uh, mini tubbed, full interior. It looks nice. I've always loved that Gen 1 Camaro, right? It's royal purple, cars out of Texas. It won the NMCA championship 2 years in a row. I bought it. I was able to put down $3,000. The guy wanted 33. So I had another Camaro. I sold it. I got 3,000. Drove to Ohio. Gave him a deposit. And by the end of 3 months, I needed to have $30,000. What was I thinking? But I worked 3 jobs and I was stacking up money. And the person at the credit union believed in me. And I had a good credit rating. I saved a lot of money up. And I got a loan for $25,000. So if people believe in you and you have good credit and you're stacking up money, you can make it happen. So, but cars are more expensive today. The car alone, 68 Camaro, mini tub, a rolling chassis is anywhere from 15 to 20,000. The motor, this is a class built motor, anywhere from 35 to 55,000. This is a 1,000 horsepower, 1,100 horsepower motor. Aluminum rods, aluminum heads, titanium valves. This is not your junkyard motor. Okay? And you got to have all the proper stuff. You know, the race pack. I got a race pack with it. Because if you're just out driving and you don't know what your car's doing, you're losing. Just like Ron Rhodes. You can look him up. He's the X275 champion, a nitrous big block. He switched his system to Motec. I've been watching him for over 10 years. So, and he's a nitrous big block ladder bar car, and he makes the car work. So I've always kind of watched him. But it takes a lot of money. The car's in the garage. It's sitting because I need new rods. New rods are $1,000. New pistons, another $1,400. New rings and bearing. You might also say $10,000 to freshen it. Okay, I have fresh valve springs, PSI valve springs. They were $800. Titanium retainers. It's a lot of maintenance. So, you know, I may sell it just to try to get a Cybertruck. I don't know. It's been sitting there, and that's my car. That's my heart, right? I got a trailer, 18-foot open trailer. I got all the tools, 3 transmissions, 3 carburetors, okay? But motorsport racing is different than driving on the street. You got to keep your wheels straight. You got to look ahead. Launch the car pulls 3 Gs, okay? So, but I'm passionate about driving, just like a lot of you. I'm a car enthusiast, and I understand the commitment. You got to save money, and you want to make it happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this talk, look at my videos, leave comments. I love the community, and watch all the videos. Uh, do you try to teach your students defensive driving? Yes, always. Always. Because what I see today, drivers run lights. And what I've done before, we've got out of the class and we went up to an intersection and we looked at how many cars run lights. That 14 to, and I'm going to tell you, that 14 to 24-year-old, these are young drivers who are going to speed, run lights, they're late. They're late going to a party, they're going to downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Detroit, downtown Toronto to see Drake. They're in a hurry. And I've driven students from Canada too. Okay, that G20. The 25 to 50, those drivers are much more safer. They're going to be more consistent, but more people are running lights. More people are tailgating and road raging. A lot of the times when I make these videos in car, you guys only see the front view. So many cars, and I'm driving at the speed limit or a little faster. If the speed limit is 70, they're doing 75, 77, 80. And you're going to get a ticket. You're going to have an accident. People 50 to 70, they're more cautious. They're more safe. I see people extremely distracted. And a matter of time, you're just going to lose control. So general driving, the 14 to 24-year-olds, so they need to practice driving in the parking lot, in the neighborhood, at school. The college students, you're going to have a survival kit in case your car breaks down. You already know. You're going back and forth to college. If you could just make it on campus. But then you're going to take it to a shop, and if you don't know about your car, you're going to see, Mom and Dad, my car's in the shop. How much is it? $2,300. What? You need to work. We'll send you up $1,500. You got to get the rest. Usually just go whatever speed I feel safe on the road, as long as I'm in a car with a radar detector. I've been on that side too. I think people who are driving like crazy fast, 100, 85, 90, it's a matter of time before a slow moving car cuts you off. And I think the police are looking for those extremely aggressive and fast drivers. I don't want you to get a ticket. I just need you to be safe. Let's talk about anxiety and road rage. The 14 to 24-year-old, the teenager who listens to calm music to drown out distractions. Example, a young adult uses mindful techniques learned in therapy to avoid road rage. The 25 to 50-year-old, a professional driver, practices deep breathing to stay calm. A parent driving their kids to school avoids eye contact. So someone cuts off your mom or dad, they ignore them because their mind is on you. And they want to be a safe driver. You feel me? You have people set 50 to 70, they avoid road rage. They don't drive during on-peak hours. On-peak, rush hour in the morning, rush hour mid-afternoon. I've been driving through Houston, Texas. I think I had some videos. I didn't get road rage, in my opinion. I just get that a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to drive slower and stay to the right. You're probably in the middle lane or left lane trying to push and get where you're going. It's just like people, you're in a car, there's heightened danger. And you got to have heightened awareness. I like what you're saying. You got to have heightened awareness. You got to be a defensive driver. You got to anticipate what's going to happen. There are packs of cars, Mustangs, Corvettes, doing crazy, crazy speed. They're, right now it's the wintertime, but in Houston, Texas, it's just cool right now, but they're driving crazy fast. 6 lanes, 8 lanes, 12 lanes. So you got to have that defensive driving mindset to be safe. Imagine, LA, they got the forest fires right now, right? So mental health. I want to talk about mental health. How do I manage anxiety and panic attacks? as a 14 to 24-year-old. Learn to have grounding techniques. Talk to your counselor. A college student creates a playlist, calming music, chill you down. A 25 to 50-year-old parent schedules shortened driving and practice positivity affirmation. I'm a very positive person. I like clean driving, good space, good speed control. I'm not trying to aggressively push someone. Hey, if this is bringing you value, give us a thumbs up. Us 50 to 70-year-old middle-aged driver practices deep breathing techniques. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to relax. Okay? Let's get some thumbs up, please. The 70 to 100-year-old, they go to workshops. Should I really be driving? Do I need to be checked by my doctor? Should I be re-examined? If you're that old and you can legally drive and you're safe, drive. But don't put yourself in harm's way. I want all of you to look at these videos. I want to say thank you. I got a lot of positive comments. This really helps. And thank you for being a part of the community. I'm blessed, and this helps me prepare and help you. Watch my videos. Bye.